وأذن في الناس بالحج يأتوك رجالا وعلى كل ضامر يأتين من كل فج عميق.
لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك، إن الحمد والنعمة لك والملك لا شريك لك.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، ونصلي ونسلم على المبعوث رحمة للعالمين سيدنا ونبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه ومن اتبعه بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. We welcome you to Ayyamullah, the days of Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala, in which we discuss various aspects of Hajj. Today we'll discuss the story of Ibrahim alayhi salatu wassalam, when Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala commanded him to slaughter his son. Now we know that many a time we are given different instruction. Now for us, the instructions given to us: perform your salah daily, fast during the month of Ramadan, do this, do that, etc. Things which are very, very easy. That is the instruction which Allah Ta'ala grants us. And if we are tested, we are tested also in such a way that, not very major testing or severe testing. However, the closer a person is to Allah Ta'ala, the stronger is the test from Allah Ta'ala to see whether this person will pass the test or not. If any of us are tested by Allah Ta'ala and we feel it so unbearable, remember that actually Allah Ta'ala is telling us that you are close to me, and I'm just testing you to see how are you really close to me, or will you keep close to me. That is what Allah Ta'ala is actually telling us. So when tests come to us from Allah Ta'ala, let's not feel despondent, and let's see how Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam did when he was tested by Allah Ta'ala. So when Ibrahim alayhi salam saw this dream, he comes to his son and says, "Inni ara fil manami anni adbahuk, fanzur madha tara." Inni ara fil manami anni adbahuk. That means Ibrahim alayhi salam is saying that I have seen myself in dreams, not in one dream, in dreams slaughtering you. Anni adbahuk. Fanzur madha tara. What do you say about this? فَلَمَّا بَلَغَ مَعُ السَّعْيِ. Now Ismail alayhi salam, he just reached the age where now he could run around with his father, do maybe this chore with his father, maybe father could send him to do this, do that, etc., etc. He just reached that age now. And this happens when Ibrahim alayhi salam didn't have a son. He made dua for a son, the son born to him, a son which Allah says, بِغُلَامٍ حَلِيمٍ, such a son that, hilm. This is the greatest sign of piety. The best quality which anyone can have within himself is hilm. And there Allah Ta'ala describes the son of Ibrahim alayhi salam, which is Ismail alayhi salam, with this quality of hilm. Now my son came to me after many years, in my old age, when I almost lost hope of getting a son. He just grew up now that he can be my support. He has such great akhlaq and character, possesses the king of character, which is hilm. And there I see in a dream that I'm slaughtering him. If I were to see that dream, as soon as my eyes opened, I would have felt relieved that it was only a dream. However, the dreams of Anbiya are revelation. their haqq and revelation. So Ibrahim alayhi salam knew full well that this is a command from Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala. Now see, he knew it's a command of Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala, so it must take place. There's no way that he is not, being a Nabi, he has to fulfill the command of Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala. But what he does is, he goes and makes mashwara with his son. The first thing he says, Ya bunay. Now you get Ya bani, Ya bunay. Bani means it can be a big boy, it can be an adult male, it can be your son, he may be a grandfather already and he's your son. Bunay means your young son. Now parents, to them, children, even when they are grandfathers, they are still young to them. And when you address, in many language, for example, in Urdu language, you say bete, meaning my son, my young son. It denotes love. So Ibrahim alayhi salam, with a lot of love, he comes to his son that, Ya bunayya, inni ara fil manam, anni adbahuk. I saw in a dream, or I saw in dreams that I am slaughtering you. What do you say about it? There's also a very, very important lesson for us. Many of us manage other people. Many of us have to command people around, do this, do that, etc. Now there's many ways of doing it. For example, my child at home, I will say, go and get me a glass of water. The child will do it, but with a lot of hesitance. But I'll say, oh Muhammad, can you get me a glass of water? I'll still get my water, but this time with a smile. So when you give commands in a form of questions or in a form of requests, then it gets done quicker, with a lot more, you'll get it done where people are happy doing it for you, inshallah. So let us use that in our daily lives also. That can you do this? Is it possible that you do that? Etc. etc. And you'll see how people will open to you, inshallah. Now, Ibrahim alayhi salam gave birth to the son which Allah tabarak wa ta'ala praises as Ghulamun Halim. The son was a pious person himself. And Allah says, فَلَمَّا أَسْلَمَا, when both of them submitted themselves. But this whole episode here is showing how Ismail alayhi salam was obedient firstly to his father, secondly to his Lord, to his Rabb, to his Creator. First obedience to the father, that you must be ready and I'm going to slaughter you, and he was happy to do that because of being obedient, an obedient son. Then an obedient slave to Allah, so I'm happy to do it. A pious son or a pious daughter will always be very, very obedient to their parents. In anything which Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala has ordained, whatever halal our parents ask us to do, then it's important that we do it for the sake of Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala. Obedience to parents in turn shows obedience to Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala Himself. An obedient child and a pious child will hold his parents' hand and together run towards Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala. So we as children, let us ask ourselves that are we running together with our parents to Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala? Very, very important. Very, very important. Now, one aspect of this is when the time came for the slaughter, for the actual action. Can anyone feel, or can anyone describe what the heart of this father will be going through at the time of having to slaughter his son? What will happen? Can you feel that? Here, Khalilullah, Allah's friend, Allah is asking him to do this. Because he's a friend of Allah, he agrees to do it. However, the son who I'm so used to, playing and running around me, I'm going to have to bid farewell to him now. What's the feeling that must have went through Ibrahim alayhi salam at that time? Nonetheless, he does it. More than that, the son who grew up in the lap of Ibrahim alayhi salam knows that I'm leaving my father. I've left my mother already. Now is the time when I'm leaving my father. What must be going through father and son? Can anyone try to comprehend that? It's very, very difficult for me. I cannot understand it. And I'm sure you also cannot understand what must have been going through the minds of father and son. This is the time when we have to now submit. What happens? He helps his father in obeying the command of Allah. Our children, do they help us in obeying the command of Allah? Or they put deterrence in our way? The son, a pious son, this is a sign of a pious son. If he's going to help you in fulfilling the commands of Allah, then that is a pious son. Let's see what happens. He suggests to his father, alayhi salam, that rather put me face down so that you will not hesitate in completing the command of Allah. Put me face down so that you do not hesitate in completing the command of Allah. Oh Allah, let us be such children that you will be bridges for our parents to enter Jannah, insha'Allah. We will help them enter Jannah, insha'Allah. So this is what the son tells the father. And then we know the story. Now Ibrahim alayhi salam, as he takes out the knife to start slaughtering, the knife doesn't slaughter. And what happens instead? Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala rewards father and son. فَلَمَّا أَسْلَمَا وَتَلَّهُ الْجَبِينَ وَنَادَيْنَاهُ أَن يَا إِبْرَاهِيمُ قَدْ صَدَّقْتَ الرُّؤْيَا إِنَّا كَذَلِكَ نَجْزِي الْمُحْسِنِينَ. That Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala says, فَلَمَّا أَسْلَمَا, when they both, father and son, submitted themselves to Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala, and we called out to Ibrahim alayhi salam that you have made this, the dream, you have made it true. And then Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala rewards them with what? With a ram. That don't slaughter your son, slaughter this ram. Very, very quickly this test came to an end. Why? Why? Because both of them quickly submitted themselves to the will of Allah. Now we also, quite often we are tested. And when the test doesn't come to an end quickly, it means that we haven't still submitted ourselves, so we haven't passed the test as yet. As soon as the test is passed, then it comes to an end. So when we go on the problems as well, let us try and accept the will of Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala quickly. Once we accept it, then you will see that that test will leave us immediately. That is the secret to living a more happily life, insha'Allah. We ask Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala to accept the udhiyah of every one of us, insha'Allah. We ask Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala to grant us the opportunity that we can always sacrifice in all aspects of our life for the sake of Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
وأذن في الناس بالحج يأتوك رجالا وعلى كل ضامر يأتين من كل فج عميق.
لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة لك والملك لا شريك لك.